Welcome back to a new episode of GWeek.
Thanks for tuning in. We'll be covering stories from the increase of crime rates in D.C. to the ceasefire and release of Palestinian and Israeli hostages.
We'll also highlight the recent elections and voter turnout and the increase of security on GW's campus. I'm Emma Grace Myers.
And I'm Preston Summit.
The National Christmas tree lighting happened with smooth sailing last week, but was almost ruined by high winds. The National Park Service said the tree was toppled by gusty wind a few days before, but the National Park Service quickly replaced a snapped cable to get the tree from Monongahela National Forest in West Virginia back in place. Luckily, none of the smaller trees that surround the National Christmas tree were damaged, and the extent of the destruction was just some broken ornaments. The event included singers such as Glee star Darren Criss, Renee Rapp, and Dionne Warwick. Jill and Joe Biden also made an appearance.
U.S. presidents, first ladies, and other leaders gathered on November 28th to pay their respects to former First Lady Rosalyn Carter at her funeral service in Atlanta. Rosalyn Carter passed away last month at the age of 96. She's remembered for her activism for mental health, women's rights, caregiving, and humanitarian work. She was also very well known for her efforts during her husband's, former President Jimmy Carter's, presidential campaigns. He was also present at the service, but was unable to speak. President Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris were also in attendance, along with former First Ladies Laura Bush, Michelle Obama, and Melania Trump. Catherine Cade, a former project director of the White House, recounted her time spent with Mrs. Carter. Quote, "What a remarkable woman she was. Wife, mother, business manager, political strategist, diplomat, advocate, and author. Yet, what I remember most about her was her tireless dedication to taking care of others." End quote.
GW has recently increased security around campus, with officials at the entrances of every residence hall amid recent tensions. Ananya Gandezi has the story.
The Israel-Palestine conflict has increased tensions all over the world, including the United States. Within the last 3 months, college campuses across the nation have broken out into protests or even violence in support of one side or the other. Due to heightened concerns with this ongoing conflict, GWPD has increased security around campus and within the residence halls. According to GW's website, security officers have been assigned to each residence hall. Students will notice that all dorms now require G-Roll tap access at all times of the day, watched over by an officer 24/7. Police patrols have also increased, meaning students may see more GWPD cars and officers stationed at various positions around campus. This increased security comes after a wave of protests and unrest on college campuses across the nation. ABC reports that at Columbia University, an Israeli student was attacked while putting up a poster of an Israeli hostage. Furthermore, a Columbia administrator said in an interview with campus radio station WKCR that he hoped, quote, "every one of these people die," end quote, in relation to a pro-Palestinian protest. According to the New Yorker, Harvard student groups issued a letter condemning Israel for its actions in the conflict, prompting severe backlash from both inside and outside campus. Tensions remain high at GW as well. On October 24th, the Students for Justice in Palestine group projected images onto the Gelman Library wall supporting Palestine, with slogans like, quote, "GW, the blood of Palestine is on your hands," end quote. Immediate outrage came from Israeli groups on campus and even garnered attention from Capitol Hill and the White House, who condemned the messages as offensive. GW's president Ellen Granberg also released a statement condemning the actions, claiming they were anti-Semitic. The Palestinian group was shortly suspended afterwards for 90 days, but students still stepped outside and protested. On the other side, a truck parked in front of Kogan Plaza displayed the faces and names of pro-Palestinian protesters on a screen. The Student Coalition for Palestine encouraged students not to engage and told them that it was an attempt to instigate. As the conflict continues overseas, it is unlikely to see an end to these protests anytime soon. In case of emergency, call 911 or call GWPD's emergency line at 202-994-6111. Other resources can be found on GW's website. For GWeek, I'm Ananya Gandesi.
Thanks, Ananya. The 2023 United Nations Climate Change Conference, often referred to as COP28, began on Thursday the 30th of November. It takes place over 2 weeks and this year is located in Dubai. Its location has been a cause for some controversy, because of the booming oil industry in the United Arab Emirates. One of the first things in discussion this year is a fund that would help developing countries recover from damages caused by climate change, such as flooding or other climate-related natural disasters. The delegates are looking for governments to make contributions to this fund. The conference will continue until December 12th.
Reports have shown that crime rates have reached an all-time high in 2023, causing D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser to pass the Addressing Crime Trends Now Act. Dylan Ebbs has the story.
NPD has released their crime stats for the year 2023, and violent crime overall has risen 40%, and all crime has risen 27% since 2022. Both robbery and motor vehicle theft have almost doubled in their frequency. There were 1,682 juvenile arrests in 2022, an increase from 1,401 arrests in 2021 and 1,534 in 2020. Specific to juvenile arrests, gun crimes, including armed carjackings and carrying a pistol without a license, have increased consistently over the last 7 years. This issue is obvious, as a viral video that shows DC teens saying they would rather commit murder than armed robbery and then arguing about whether armed robbery and armed carjacking have a higher sentence than murder. DC Mayor Muriel Bowser has dismissed this video, citing that she doesn't know if the information is accurate, as there's no proof the boys have committed any of the crimes they are discussing. As the teens discuss what crimes they allegedly could commit, the last one says, quote, "That's dumb. You'd rather take a human's life and get life than rob someone and get 10 to 12 years, end quote. The video has almost 7,000 likes on Instagram and 7,000 shares and views on X. Currently, DC has 3 punishments for juveniles who commit crimes. Community release, where the youth resides with an approved guardian and is monitored by CSS, a detention alternative, such as a shelter home or a secure detention at YSC. However, if a youth is aged 15 to 17 and charged with certain violent crimes, OAG may transfer the case to the adult system. Back in April of this year, a 17-year-old and a 15-year-old were charged in connection with the shooting of Washington Commanders running back Brian Robinson Jr. The younger teen pleaded guilty to the incident and was ordered to remain in youth services custody until he turns 21. The 17-year-old pleaded guilty to assault with a dangerous weapon and carrying a pistol without a license as part of a deal in which prosecutors agreed to ask that the teen be placed in the custody of the city's youth services until he turns 20. Luckily, the bullets missed major ligaments and bone, and the running back played this past season. Back in October, Bowser released the Act Now Act of 2023 to address the rising crime rates in the district. The plan will be going into effect in 2024, hopefully impacting the crime rates in the upcoming year. Some of its provisions include making organized retail theft a felony, reinstating laws that make it illegal to wear a mask to commit a crime, and allowing the police to declare drug-free zones and limit loitering. While there is no direct connection between this act and youth crime trends, many people are hoping that this will help with the mentality being shown in the video. Signing off for GWeek, I'm Dylan Ebbs.
Thanks, Dylan. GW's annual Midnight Breakfast is on Monday, December 11th from 9 p.m. to 12 a.m. in the USC. This year's theme is Beneath the Waves, announced on the Student Life's Instagram on November 28th, with lots of fun-themed activities, including riding on a mechanical shark, a blacklight arcade, karaoke, lots of treats, and extreme surfboarding. Midnight Breakfast wouldn't be complete without the program board's highly anticipated Build a Study Buddy activity, where students can build their own stuffed animal to help them ace their final exams. But be sure to get there early, as it is first come, first serve. Make sure you register on Engage and save your Engage event pass to your phone, because that's your ticket in. We hope to see you there, taking a much-deserved break from the stress of final season.
Let's welcome Weatherman Dan, who will guide us through the weather for the upcoming days.
Thanks so much, guys, and welcome back into another look into this week's weather. My name's Weatherman Dan, and here's the scoop. Well, looking at this entire forecast, we're noticing 2 things: wind and continuity. So expect last week's cold yet sunny days to carry into this week along with that wind. And I'm emphasizing that wind because without it, you may not even need your scarf or your gloves for days like last Thursday when the wind was at a speed of 7 miles per hour and the sun was shining for a good part of the day. Now, I also want you to notice that pleasant surprise that we're seeing at the beginning of this coming weekend. Now, why are we reaching almost low 50-degree temperatures in December? Well, take a look at this pressure system on our map here. It's in the Midwest right now, but through the week, it's going to move eastward. And that high pressure system is characterized by calm, gentle, and clear breezes. So that's why we're going to have a lot more of a temperate and warmer weekend this coming weekend. Now, going into this winter weather season, I want to answer a question that's probably on everybody's minds. When should we, if any, expect some snow? Well, it's my great pleasure to let you know, GW, that the likelihood of snow this year is very high. So here are the facts. For the past 3 years, we've experienced a phenomenon in the Pacific Ocean called La Nina. So this means that during our winters, the water in the Pacific Ocean gets unusually cold, giving us that typical winter weather in the U.S., colder weather in the north and warmer, drier weather in the south. This year, however, we're going to experience the inverse, El Niño, the unusual warming of water in the Pacific Ocean. So the jet streams are affected by this. This is a jet stream and this is a jet stream, and I want you to think of them as a river of air. And as a result of El Niño, these jet streams are going to have a high frequency of dipping and bending on their paths, causing potential intersections. Now, if the inevitable low-pressure system or storm rides that subtropical jet stream at the right time and the right place at an intersection, well, we could be talking about a massive snowstorm in the mid-Atlantic and Northeast regions. So, in short, ladies and gentlemen, we've got a good shot. And if you and I sleep with our pajamas inside out and put spoons under our pillows, we might just get to see GW's first snow day in a while. So, with that being said, I'm Weatherman Dan. That was your forecast, and happy holidays, GW.
Thanks, Weatherman Dan. 2 government officials have been carjacked near Capitol Hill in the past month. On Wednesday, November 29th, an FBI official was carjacked, following Texas Rep. Henry Cuellar's carjacking in early October. According to the Metropolitan Police Department, there have been over 900 carjacking incidents this year. In the FBI official's case, there are currently 2 suspects. Their images were released and there is a $10,000 reward out for them.
Israel and Palestine entered a ceasefire last month and have made a hostage release agreement. Vivian Williams has the story.
During the surprise attack on Israel by Hamas on October 7th, about 240 Israel people were taken hostage. According to the New York Times, these hostages were taken after Hamas crossed the border from Gaza into Israel and killed approximately 1,200 people. Since October 7th, more than 15,000 Palestinians have also been killed in Gaza. On Friday, November 24th, nearly 7 weeks after the attack, Israel and Hamas agreed to enter a ceasefire to release hostages and prisoners from both sides. According to AP News, the agreement, 10 Israeli hostages per day would be released in exchange for 30 Palestinian prisoners. So far, 210 Palestinian hostages have been released from Israel custody, and 102 Israeli hostages have been released from Hamas. The temporary truce in Gaza has been extended for yet another day. Israel and Hamas confirmed in statements that the pause in fighting will continue while more hostages are exchanged. At the time of the recording, the temporary ceasefire has been holding for 6 days.
Thanks, Vivian. Last week, a truck sponsored by Accuracy in Media parked in front of the Elliott School of International Affairs, showing the names and faces of GW students allegedly involved with pro-Palestinian organizations on campus during a sit-in hosted by the Student Coalition for Palestine. According to the GW Hatchet, GWPD claimed that the truck was parked on public property, so they couldn't do anything to stop the truck from, quote, doxing, end quote, students. Accuracy in Media is an external organization that was running an anti-Semitism accountability campaign and claimed to, quote, expose GW's leading anti-Semites, end quote, claiming, quote, hate cannot be allowed to continue to fester on college campuses, end quote, according to their Twitter post. Following the sit-in, President Ellen Granberg and Dean of Students Colette Coleman released a statement saying that, quote, we do not tolerate Islamophobia, anti-Semitism, or any other forms of hate on our campus, and we must continue to productively engage with one another without intimidating, insulting, or attacking those who disagree, end quote. The billboard truck has been to Yale, Harvard, and Columbia, displaying the identities of their respective students believed to be affiliated with pro-Palestine organizations on campus.
The November 7th Election Day had some important results leading up to the 2024 election. Michael Rodriguez from GW Votes had some input on student voters and their impact looking ahead. Avanti Patwardhan has the story.
The most recent election on November 7th, 2023 left the nation with a lot to think about concerning the upcoming presidential election. Here's a summary of some noteworthy developments. First, this election had many Democratic victories. the most notable being the re-election of Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear. As a Democrat, he achieved victory in a historically red state and is now seen as a potential Democratic running mate for the 2024 election. This was not the only Democratic win. Democrats' advocacy for the protection of reproductive rights proved to be a path to victory in this election. Additionally, a Democrat won a seat in the Pennsylvania Supreme Court following his campaign to protect abortion rights. In Virginia, the Democrats gained control of the state house, which prevented the Republicans' passage of a new abortion ban, as well as minimized the opportunity for Republican Governor Glenn Youngkin to declare candidacy in the Republican presidential primary. Lastly, Ohio election results voted to pass Issue 1, an initiative that allows the right to abortion to be in the state constitution.
So GW Votes is a nonpartisan coalition of students, faculty, and staff on GW's campus with the goal of making sure that all students who are eligible to vote are registered and that they feel educated and prepared on how to do so, and making sure that we can kind of address any barriers that our students do face in terms of voting. And we believe that the student turnout will be really good. Historically, GW has been a little bit above the national average, so we're hoping to kind of continue that trend. And historically, we've been seeing kind of a growth in the youth vote, which is really awesome. And I think it's super important for them to get their voice heard. I think GW students are super passionate and are doing a lot both in terms of civic engagement and like public service in addition to voting. So I think it's a great opportunity to really get your voice heard in addition to the other aspects that we are involving in our community.
The 2023 election also resulted in two historical outcomes. First, Gabe Amo, who was a former White House aide under the Biden administration, was elected as the first African-American member of Congress from Rhode Island. Secondly, Democrat Sherelle Parker was elected as the first female mayor of Philadelphia. While this election included many victories for the Democratic Party, it is still not a definite predictor of the 2024 election, as Joe Biden and Donald Trump are anticipated to change the political scene in the presidential run. I'm Avanti Putworthen for GWeek.
Thanks, Avanti. With the colder weather creeping in, let's turn it over to Thea Lawson and Valeria Martinez-Villegas, our lifestyle correspondents, who will be highlighting the best holiday activities in the DMV area.
Now that the holidays are around the corner, the DMV area has many activities for friends and family to enjoy.
We're here to let you in on the best festivities for this wonderful time of year.
The Downtown Holiday Market in Penn Quarter offers free admission to a spacious area that includes around 70 exhibits with local artists, food favorite vendors, and amazing Christmas lights.
One of my personal favorites and DC staples is metroing over to the wharf and watching the district's holiday boat parade. Nothing screams holiday joy more than bundling up in your warmest winter coat and watching over 60 glowing boats glide along the Washington Channel. Along with the boat parade, the wharf hosts plenty of other spirited activities, including ornament decorating, a s'mores pit, iconic pictures with Santa, and an ice rink located on Transit Pier.
The Nats Park brings a whole new world to their baseball field. You can enjoy a maze with colorful lights and magic all around. A village that includes local vendors, boutiques, and crafters so you can enjoy holiday treats while Christmas shopping. And finally, an ice skating rink with Santa's Landing and a kids zone.
Open until March 3rd, there's plenty of time to enjoy the quintessential DC experience of ice skating at the Sculpture Garden on the National Mall. Open every day of the week, this special event is a great time for all levels of skaters and offers private and group lessons throughout the year. Reserve your tickets by visiting the National Gallery of Art official webpage.
For more ice skating opportunities, the Washington Harbor Ice Rink, located in K Street, is the biggest outdoor rink in the DC area. With a 90-minute session and a 30-minute break between each session, this rink gives you the opportunity to shine in the ice with the perfect scenery of the Potomac River.
For those willing to go that extra mile for some holiday cheer, be sure to visit the National Harbor in Maryland. Chock full of Christmas spirit, the harbor enchants with nightly tree lighting shows and firework displays and an ice rink with larger-than-life sculptures of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer characters. Grab a picnic blanket and watch one of their holiday Christmas screenings along the Potomac, take a ride on the Capitol Wheel, or simply enjoy the festivities while holiday shopping in stores and enjoying a bite to eat.
Adding on to the holiday spirit, the Smithsonian Zoo opened their doors for their annual Zoo Lights on November 24th. Offering an enchanting journey through the different homes of the animals that live there. Be sure to check out the available dates and plan ahead.
If you missed the lighting of the National Christmas Tree, be sure to check out the National Menorah on December 7th in celebration of Hanukkah. Bringing in thousands of attendees each year, enjoy the serenades of military bands and other featured artists. Prominent speakers include the President, Vice President, and other cabinet members, along with the winner of the National Menorah Essay Contest. And that concludes our list. Happy holidays from our GWTV family to yours.
So what are you guys looking forward to doing out of the holiday list that you guys just said?
Even though I'm not good at ice skating, I seem to go every year in fall, so that eventually.
Totally gotta agree. Growing up in Alaska, ice skating was just such a huge part of my childhood. Really happy to have it back here.
Very shocked about you living in Alaska.
No.
Yeah. Like a bomb drop. What about you, Valeria?
I mean, I twisted my ankle last year ice skating, so I don't think I'll be doing that again, but definitely the holiday market.
Hot chocolate.
Mm-hmm.
Russia's Supreme Court banned the international LGBTQ movement and all associated activities last week and declared it an, quote, extremist movement, end quote, according to the New York Times. Gay rights activists claim that this ruling will further threaten Russia's LGBTQ community's safety, as they could be criminally prosecuted for sporting symbols like the LGBTQ flag. Anti-LGBTQ legislation is not new to Russia, as Russia's President Vladimir Putin passed a law in 2013 that banned, quote, gay propaganda, end quote, towards minors, and then further extended the law in 2022, prohibiting anything supporting, quote, non-traditional relationships and pedophilia, end quote, according to the New York Times. This year, he banned medical gender transitions and changing gender on legal documents.
The Department of Justice charged Nikhil Gupta with murder for hire and conspiracy to commit murder for hire after an unidentified Indian official plotted to assassinate Sikh separatist leader Gurpatwant Singh Pannan. According to AP News, Gupta contacted an international narcotics trafficker, who is a confidential source for the U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration, for assistance in finding a hitman. The source then connected Gupta with a hitman who is also an undercover agent for the DEA. According to CNN, Pannan said that the target on him is a, quote, threat to freedom of speech and democracy, end quote. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau claimed that the assassination of Hardeep Singh Nijjar also had connections with the Indian government, which they denied. However, according to AP News, Gupta told the undercover agent that Nijjar's killing, quote, was also the target, end quote, and, quote, we have so many targets, end quote.
That's all we have for this episode. For GWeek, I'm Emma Grace Myers.
And I'm Preston Summit. Happy holidays, GW.
I'm so proud of you for getting it right.
I thought they were going to say happy holidays.
I was ready for you to say it.
I thought I was going to say it, too.
She said, perfect.
Ooh.
Thanks, Brooke.
Thank you, Brooke.
All right.